worst superhero movies. This list is in no order, okay? Because I know I could put this in the order, but that actually takes actual planning and time. So we go over 10 superhero movies that I absolutely hate. And no, let me go over the objectively worst, like Alexa and, blah, 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 blah. These are the movies that rub me the worst of them all, okay? These are the 10 worst superhero movies of all time. Okay, these are the 10 superhero movies that rub me the worst and the wrongest ways. Number 10, Justice League. And when I'm talking about Justice League, I'm talking about the 2017 Justice League. This one, okay? This mistake of a movie, okay? This movie is literally just a mistake. They released the real version of Justice League in 2021, okay? Why would you watch this version of the Justice League? The incomplete version, the city demo version. Okay, it's like you're watching a demo, an unfinished movie. Okay, it's basically an unfinished movie. Okay, that's basically what Justice League is. Because the original plan for this movie, they were supposed to split it into two movies like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. But they said, you know what? Fuck that. And they decided to just half-ass the movie and put it out. Okay, I don't think anyone wants to and people said, we didn't want to watch a half-assed movie, and no one went to go see it. It lost a lot of money at the box office, obviously. $300 million budget, it needs to make 2.5 times its budget, so, obviously, it needed to make $700 million globally, which it did not make $700 million globally, so, haha, Justice League, you didn't, as well. But apparently they're going to reboot the whole DC universe because the last one failed so much. But the movie lost around $50 to $60 million globally. Actually, it was even more than that, around $100 million. Sorry about that, I'm not that good at math. Kind of like Puss in Boots. So, yeah. So this movie, holy grail of pile of shit. Okay? And no, if people are going to say, expect that, like, what about The Flash? I have not seen The Flash. I have not seen Blue Beetle either. So, don't, ask for Blue Beetle and The Flash. Okay, I've not seen either of those two movies yet. Okay, same thing with another movie, Wakanda Forever. People will be asking for that and the Eternals. Okay, I've not seen either of those movies. Okay, so I don't have an opinion on both of those movies. Okay, so don't ask for those movies. Okay, they are not on the list. Same thing with the Lego Batman movie because I hate the Lego movie, so I didn't see the Lego Batman movie either. So number 2, Birds of Prey. Okay, this is the Harley Quinn movie that no one asked for. Okay, the movie's plot was very, boring. This movie was very boring. Okay, the characters were not very interesting. Okay, basically Harley Quinn didn't want to be with the Joker anymore. So I couldn't blame him. The Jared Leto Joker is complete, horrible. But this movie was an absolute failure. I watched this movie. The final battle scene was one of the worst final battle scenes in the superhero movies. Okay, superhero movies are supposed to have interesting and entertaining final battle scenes. I think this movie really contributed to the start of the decline of superhero movies. Also, Marvel's lackluster slate of 2021 outside of No Way Home and Shang-Chi. Okay, but Birds of Prey is a complete, utter mess of the movie. I've seen it once and I don't ever plan on seeing it again. There was a couple funny scenes in the movie, but it was just bad. The characters were forgettable. There was just a bunch of random women, just doing things, and they were just forgettable characters, okay? This is just another feminist pile of garbage, okay? Not too surprising. I don't think anyone went to go see this movie in the theaters either, okay? Basically, this made this movie, feminist movie that, absolutely nobody went to go see. So, good job at Warner Bros. For taking 2 spots in a row. Number 3. But Marvel was going to take its first L with Quantumania. Okay, what the fuck? Like, when I watched this movie, what the fuck was this movie? Okay, what the director and creator was high on fucking drugs when they made this movie? Okay, Quantumania is, easily one of the worst superhero movies I've ever seen. Okay, I know the 2020s took 2 hours already. Okay, but Quantumania was a complete and utter mess of a movie. Okay, Kang, who is like the main villain of the movie, apparently he's dead, but there's hundreds of other Kangs now. There's a whole multiverse now. Oh yay, so exciting. Yeah, I'm not excited for this multiverse because you killed off all the most important heroes. Ant-Man is like a B-list hero at best. Okay, I like this first movie. Wasp was okay, but this is like a whole new level of shit. It was a CGI fest of garbage. Okay, it was a CGI fest. The CGI was awful. Okay, the characters are awful. Ant-Man's daughter is basically an SDW. Okay, most of the quantum people are awful. Okay, they're like just random things. Like there's a guy with a microphone for a head. Yeah, and there's guys eating. Yes, there were people in a cafe. I'm not gonna describe this. Eating live creatures. Yes, and also apparently the ships are formed with goo. Okay, this whole quantum realm bullshit is stupid. Okay, it's the most retarded movie I've ever seen. Okay, but yeah, good thing that Rotten Tomatoes for once said fuck the Disney money. We're gonna give this city ass movie a bad score like it deserves. So yeah, Quantumania, complete ass movie. Moving on. Number 4. Batman and Robin. Okay, this movie is kind of overhated, but it was still pretty bad. Okay, the story was pretty bland. Arnold Schwarzenegger was pretty bad in this movie. Okay, the best part of the movie was Batman, and that's saying something about this movie. Okay, apparently you can also watch in Prime Video, but I just got the whole Batman collection. Okay, this movie is infamous for being a bad movie. It's often considered one of the worst movies of all time. So I don't really want to go into depth of why this movie isn't good. But unlike the other two movies, the other couple movies, this movie was so bad it was good. It was kind of like it was bad, but it was still entertainingly bad. Okay, unlike the Birds of Prey. Okay, Birds of Prey should at least learn some lessons. If you want to be a very bad city movie, at least have fun doing a bad movie. Okay, I don't get why Batman and Robin had such a low score compared to Birds of Prey, which is a far worse movie than Batman and Robin. But apparently, I don't make the IMDb scores. I think Birds of Prey have got a 0% Rotten Tomatoes because that movie is complete ass. But Batman and Robin, I think it would be like a 2 out of 10 movie. It would be on par with the IMDb score. It was still a very bad movie. Okay, but again, it was funny the whole point is so bad it's good. Like, you can understand, okay? It was also the 90s anyways. Like, the 90s was, it was just 90s humor, outdated 90s humor, but it was funny though. And yeah, the suits are kind of ridiculous in this movie as well. And the villains are kind of ridiculous in this movie as well. So overall, this movie is just very ridiculous. And it didn't really piss me off like other movies. But yeah, I still consider it a bad movie and definitely one of the worst superhero movies of all time. So, next movie, number 5, Captain Marvel. And we're talking about the first Captain Marvel movie, not whatever the heck the Marvels is, or it's not even out yet. But Captain Marvel, the 2019 movie, was an absolute mess. Okay? So, Captain Marvel is basically, a movie. Okay? It's very similar to another movie that released at the same time. Apparently, Captain Marvel, comes to Earth because of reasons. He goes into a blockbuster as he, has no emotion throughout the whole movie. Okay, basically all of her memories about men saving her and saying that he can't do things because he's a woman, which is completely and utterly stupid because your character has superpowers. He used to be able to do his stuff, but yeah, this movie, you have awful acting. Okay, Brie Larson have won a Razzie for this awful performance. Okay, this is okay. Brie Larson have won a fucking award for how bad a performance is. But I bet Marvel tried to tell you, oh, her performance is so great. And if you criticize this movie, you're considered a sexist for some reason, which is utterly stupid. Okay, if you want to watch movies of better, more accurate, better female characters, there's Alita Battle Angel that came out in 2019. There was the entire Alien series. Not talking about Alien 3. That movie can go on the fire and die. Okay. There was Terminator 2. Okay. there's tons of movies with better female representation than Captain Marvel. Okay, just because it's the highest grossing doesn't mean it's the best. And even the fucking Barbie movie probably has better female representation than this all god awful pile of garbage. But at least Captain Marvel can at least have one thing. It was just a boring ass movie. Okay, it was basically just the most boring movie Marvel has put out. Okay, I bet I can probably fall asleep watching this. Okay, I bet I can probably fall asleep watching Captain Marvel. Okay, it's just a boring ass movie. Okay, it's not the characters are boring. They're not entertaining, and overall, this movie just makes you want to go to sleep, not want to watch it. Okay, this is not a movie that is very entertaining. So obviously, definitely one of the worst Marvel movies ever. So yeah, number 6. For the Dark World. Oh, yes. We're going to have to talk about this mess, too. Okay, For the Dark World, okay, is one of the worst Marvel movies ever made. The movie is confusing and pointless. Okay, this movie, the villain is so forgettable. Okay, I think his name is like Malekith or something. He's probably the most forgettable Marvel villain. This movie is the most forgettable Marvel movie as well. Easily one of the worst Marvel movies ever. Okay, it's even worse than Iron Man 2. It's even worse than Incredible Hulk. Of course, it's still better than Captain Marvel and Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania. At least you accomplished something for the Dark World. But overall, this movie's boring. It's uninteresting. The characters suck. Everything about this movie is just trash. Okay, and I'm surprised it took them so long to beat this awful movie. Okay, I thought that this would be the worst Marvel movie, and then Captain Marvel came out. That was the worst, and then they somehow topped it even worse with Quantumania. Okay, overall, that's a very, 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 very bad movie. So yeah, this is a certified trash movie. Number 7. Number 7, Samaritan. So Samaritan is a movie that exists. This movie was basically, Sylvester Stallone's, thing that he wanted to make, and it was not that good. Okay, basically it's about this old superhero that is retired, and this kid keeps annoying him. Eventually, him and the villain have to eventually face off to protect, and basically what he has to do is protect the kid, okay, as well, okay, and basically the kids have to get Samaritan to save the city. Like, this is just a generic and bland movie, okay, this is just a generic and bland movie, okay, it wasn't a very interesting movie, the plot wasn't that deep, okay. And it definitely is one of the worst movies of 2022, obviously. I don't watch as many movies as I used to. I kind of grew out of that phase. I still watch new movies every once in a while. But I kind of grew out of that phase. I remember I used to watch a new movie every day. Okay, every day. I remember in 2020, 2021, I used to watch a new movie every day. But I don't really do that anymore. I think I kind of stopped around 2022. Okay? And then I stopped caring, and, yeah. That's about the Samaritan. So number 8. So if you did not know, they made a second Ghost Rider with worse CGI, worse acting, and worse character. Okay, this is a overall far worse movie than the first Ghost Rider movie. Okay, the first Ghost Rider movie is great. It was a good movie. Okay, some people might not like it, but it was still a good movie for its time. Okay, before the whole multiverse stuff came around. And the MCU, cinematic universe stuff came around. The first movie was pretty great. Okay, but Spirit of Vengeance is pointless. It's just, why does this movie exist? Okay, this movie did not need to be made. Simple as that. This movie wasn't that good. Okay, Spirit of Vengeance is just not a good movie. I don't even remember the plot of the movie either. I watched it 7 years ago, so I can't really tell you. This movie is just forgettable, like Samaritan. Okay, and yeah. We're moving on to the 9th movie. Incredibles 2. This is a movie that everybody in the dog praises because of nostalgia. Okay, that's the first one. But everybody, people still praise this movie like it was such an amazing masterpiece. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. The Incredibles 2 is not a masterpiece. Okay? First one isn't either. Far from a masterpiece, but it's not on this list. Okay, I didn't want to piss off too many people, but The Incredibles 2, okay, this movie, this villain was bad. Okay, really, 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 really bad. He's another bad twist villain. And remember when Pixar used to make good twist villains? But this was the worst twist villain. Okay, the plot of the movie is just not too great. Basically, Incredibles are still not allowed to use the superpowers despite them saving the world. Yes, they're still not allowed to use the superpowers. Like, well, this movie defeats the whole purpose of the first Incredibles. It defeats the whole purpose of the first movie. Okay, I didn't even like the first movie that much, but still defeats the whole purpose of the first movie. Okay, and the best part about the movie was Jack fighting the fucking raccoon. That was the only good part of the movie. Other than that, the movie was just boring and just and the villain was very bad. Yeah, simple as that. The movie is forgettable. It wasn't that great, and overall, it was not worth the wait. Pixar sort of made something original instead. But don't worry, this trash heap made $1 billion like Captain Marvel. So yeah, we can really blame them for this. Number 10, Suicide Squad. No, we're not talking about the 2021 Suicide Squad. We're talking about the very, very first Suicide Squad, okay? This movie was awful, okay? Awful, okay? It was, forgettable. The characters were boring. They didn't really have much personality. Basically, they tried to make a Guardians into the Galaxy type movie and failed, okay? The second movie the second movie is what the first movie should have been. This movie had a very bland and forgettable villain. Okay, I know the second movie, the villain is like a giant star they have to defeat, but even then, the second movie, the characters were funny. They bonded. There was a good storyline. And the second movie even acted like the first movie didn't like it exist because this movie's just not good. Okay, it's not good. Joker. Awful Joker. One of the worst Jokers of all time. No debate on that one. Okay? No debate. Heath Ledger's Joker, completely awful. Okay? Completely awful. All of the characters are forgettable. Okay? Not very interesting characters outside of Harley Quinn. Maybe they still have just not made this movie. The second movie had characters that were actually memorable. Had a story that was actually good. And had actually funny scenes to this. This movie basically did Suicide Squad went to a city to stop some alien that turns people into CGI monstrosities. So yeah, that is the worst superhero movies ever made. So what is your opinion on the worst superhero movies ever made? There aren't really a lot of super bad ones. Until I see the Eternals in the Flash. Maybe I saw it and this would be updated. But yeah, that is about this video here. Goodbye.